Most gardeners are content with some fruit trees and a few veggie beds. But what drives someone to take it a step further and become a farmer in suburbia? This is my kind of story.
I think I've got a passion and a love to be outdoors and in nature, but then also I saw some of the environmental and social problems and I wanted to do something about them rather than being overwhelmed.
Hey, Simeon, how are you?
G'day, mate. How's it going?
I'm really well and really keen to have a look around and see how the farm's progressing.
Sure.
Simeon Hanskamp is part of a movement to grow fresh produce for local people on suburban-sized plots. He's turned the front and backyards of his rental property in the Melbourne suburb of Heidelberg into a thriving urban farm.
So I approached the landlord, put a household application in and told them interested in growing a really big veggie patch and can we rip up the lawn? And they said yes, so we're pretty happy with that.
And was there any hurdles to overcome?
Yeah, I think just negotiation, communication with our real estate agent. If the lease ends, we'll reseed it back to lawn if they'd like to.
How big is the block that you're growing on here?
So 650 metres squared.
And how are you actually breaking it down to do your growing?
Yeah, so there's 75 centimetre beds and 25 centimetre walkways, and then 7.5 metre lengths.
What are some of the crops that you're finding are successful for this model?
It's baby salad greens, and then, say, silver beet and kale.
In a small space like this, how are you actually making it productive?
So I choose varieties that have a big yield for the amount of space, and then also varieties that have a long harvest window. So either I can cut them and come again, and I might get 5 or 6 pickings from the one plant. And another way is that the crops are quick to turn around. So I plant them and they're ready to go in less than 70 days.
Soil's really the star of the show in any production like this. Yeah. Where did you start on your soil journey?
Yeah, so I guess having a quick look with the eye and seeing whether I thought it could grow some food, but then also getting it checked in a lab to make sure that we've got no heavy metal contamination. And so I went through VeggieSafe and in another lab to make sure that the food that I'm growing is also healthy for the people.
Simeon's a one-man band, but it's also a lot to manage by himself. So once a week, he's helped out by a couple of volunteers.
I think just trying to learn more of what I see to be a really valuable skill set and something that at this stage of my life I'm seeing is quite an important thing for the future of everyone.
Encouraging people to grow things in their own backyards and very locally, and so that people can understand, you know, where food comes from, because people don't think about things like food miles. I think it's really important.
Thank you. That was not 12 leaves.
Simeon also swaps produce and barters with friends and neighbours. One of these is fellow gardener Angelica.
Oh, hey, Angelica.
Hey, Sim, how you going?
Yeah, very good. What have you got to trade today?
I've got some fresh goat's milk, Stasi's milk this morning.
Good.
And we've got some bread from Ollie that I picked up around the corner on the way down.
Cool.
Now, I've heard, Angelica, that there's a little bit of suburban exchange go on in these streets.
Yeah, so we've got a pair of goats in our backyard. A couple of families come and help us look after them, milk them. And we've got a bit more milk than we need, so we like to trade it with some veggies because we don't quite grow enough.
And I got some beet greens that me and Costa harvested.
Fantastic. Can't wait to get stuck into them.
Very good. Catch you later, Angelica.
See you, Angelica.
Thank you again.
Bye. This is a classic old school backyard, Simeon. I mean, there's so many bits of concrete and paths and the hills hoist and multiple sheds.
Yeah.
But somehow, you've still got a lot of arable land that you're making the most of.
Yeah, so we're trying to fit lots of little tight beds into mini spaces, I guess, and working with what we've got.
Now, speaking of mini,
Yeah.
what's this little greenhouse doing for you?
So this is giving us a bit of an edge, just to speed things up.
And this is really all about just maximising your turnover.
Yeah. So just speeding that to make sure that it still stays as a quick-growing crop, that I can be productive as I can in this small space.
It's always interesting. Simeon's already expanded beyond his own place
sure.
to take on another rented garden just up the road. Look at that. It's a serious paddock of space.
So we've got this extra block because to make a commercial market garden, I need to scope out a bit of extra land.
And it goes to show, really, like, you think, how many thousands upon thousands of houses and
yeah.
housing blocks. But most of all, it means you don't have to own the land.
Yeah, so being young, low capital, I can jump in here and now we're turning it into veggie beds ready to plant.
I'm going to hang here and help Simeon prepare a couple more of these beds. He's taken on a big but important challenge, I reckon, to help grow food for his local community. But I'm sure he's going to inspire a new generation of young urban farmers to follow in his muddy footsteps.